first measure a tail that is at least 3 times as long as the length of the future cast on edge. For example, for a piece that long, I'm gonna measure a tail like this, 3 times its length, then fold the yarn and measure the same length again, making a double-stranded tail. Now place this tail on your left thumb and the working yarn on your left index finger and hold 3 strands with the rest of your left fingers, just as we do when we about to start a long tail cast on. Now take this little piece that is loose, align it with the needle and hold both the tail and the needle in your right hand. This cast on is built by alternating yarn overs and stitches with a bead-like element at the bottom that is made by basically a knot. And we start by making a yarn over. In this setup it is super easy. We simply place the tip of the right needle underneath the yarn. That's it. That's our yarn over. Now we take the thumb out of that sling and we move it around the tail twice counterclockwise, like this. So we formed 2 loops on our thumb and each loop is comprised of 2 strands of yarn. Now we insert the tip of the right needle from the bottom up under all of these loops, like this. Then we take the yarn, basically making a yarn over, and pass this yarn over through all these loops. Then we take the thumb out of the loops and return it to this sling position. We insert it between the tail and the left index finger. And then we stretch our fingers to tighten the knot at the bottom of the stitch. It is very important to keep the stitches together on the right needle as we tighten the knot. This will make sure that the edge is even and that all knots are of the same size. And then we repeat the same steps. We make a yarn over and then take the thumb out of the sling, wrap it twice around the double-stranded tail, insert the needle into all these loops, take the yarn, pass it through the loops, hold these stitches close on the right needle. You can use your right index finger or both fingers, it's up to you. Then take the thumb out and tighten the knot at the bottom of the stitch. And do it again and again. Yarn over, the wraps, going into the wraps, taking the yarn, and finally making a nice stitch with the bead-like element at the bottom. And you do it until you cast on as many stitches as you need for your project. And when you are ready to start working your first row and you're working back and forth, then turn your work and then bring the working yarn from the front around the double-stranded tail and to the back of the work. And this way we form the bead-like element right here at the bottom of the first stitch. Traditionally, this cast on is used with the garter stitch at the bottom of beautiful Channel Island sweaters. This is the right side of the work and this is the wrong side of the work. As you see, the cast on looks nice on both sides, but not exactly the same. And these knots at the bottom, they give the cast on an amazing elasticity. So it stretches quite a bit, but it springs back to shape right after it gets relaxed. So it doesn't stretch out of shape. And all these properties, they make it perfect for using it with the ribbing. And when we use it with the 1x1 ribbing, knit 1 purl 1, things get even more interesting because the look of the cast on edge also depends on the way we work the first row or round, because you can use this cast on seamless projects as well. So if you want to keep this bead-like elements at the bottom of the stitches, see those knots, then knit stitches that look like beads at the bottom and purl the stitches that are created by yarn overs in the first row, or do the opposite if you work in the round, because we're not turning the work. And then your edge will look like this. This is the right side. See, I marked it with a pin. And this is the wrong side of the work, which is not wrong at all. If you want to make the edge look more like an edge created by the tubular cast on, see, the edge is kind of going around. Then do the opposite. If you're working back and forth, then purl the stitches with the bead at the bottom and knit the stitches created by yarn overs in the first row. If you're working in the round, knit the stitches with the beads and purl the yarn overs. No matter which way you decide to use, the cast on will be stretchy and it will look nice on both sides of the work, even though it is not fully reversible. It still looks great. To get more details about this cast on, go to tenroseday.com/channel-island-cast on. Happy knitting, my friend. I'll talk to you in the next tutorial.